Welcome to the WCC publication launch. It's a great joy to gather all of you in Helsinki today and many more online. My name is Marianne Eggersten, Director of Communication in World Council of Churches since almost 5 years. I'm Swedish Lutheran, and I'm here with my colleague. She's Finnish Lutheran, from my understanding.
Yes, so welcome to Finland. So welcome to the land of tens of thousands of lakes, forests, and technology. Like I said, this is special. And I work as an advisor on fundraising in Helsinki Deaconess Institute. My name is Iiris Kivimäki, and I also attended conference of World Mission and Evangelism in Arusha, working as a communicator at the time. Today we have a very special call to see, to judge, and to act. And to show our commitment, make our Arusha call to be seen, heard, and felt again. You know, this Arusha vision is therefore much more important than your vision, which we have been following over the weekend. It's larger, it goes wider, and I think that we can all experience and share it with each and one of us. So today we will revive Arusha Call and Arusha Vision with all you distinguished guests. So welcome to Finland, the Commission. We are very honored to have you here. And also we are very happy to have all you who are online watching this, and maybe also who have been part of Arusha experience. And so I would like to give all 12 points to you at this stage. So 12 points to each one of you for being here. And now we have a chance to go and a little bit reflect and see a little video on Arusha, the conference on World Mission and Evangelism in Arusha.
Finland, and I'm very pleased to invite Archbishop Dr. Tapio Loma to address the audience gathered in Helsinki.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, you are all cordially welcome to this occasion, which I am very honored and joyful to be able to inaugurate and start. I have not myself personally been able to attend the conference in Arusha, but even this small video clip from that occasion tells us that people attending the meeting were able to share something very, very essential of our common Christian faith. The idea of discipleship is something that concerns every Christian. Every follower of Christ is a disciple. And I think the idea of discipleship and the idea that the discipleship is something that is dedicated or meant to be transformed in the course of challenge, when the challenges are transforming and the world is transforming, is very essential for our Christian witness, even today. I think that discipleship is not only that we are supporting a good cause, but the discipleship is something in which we commit ourselves totally to the living Lord Jesus Christ. Discipleship is something in which we try to absorb everything of Christ into us, so that we might share life and death with Him, and also share the resurrection with Him. Discipleship is something in which we are not only outside spectators, or, as I said, supporters of a good cause, but we are followers of Christ, followers in whose hearts the Christ Himself lives. And this is something that really inspires us and also is seen in the process of Arusha. It is a great honor to welcome you all and wish that this report, this book launch, will contribute to the understanding of discipleship in modern world. I think we need a shared understanding of all Christians of what it means to be a follower of Christ today, what it means to be a disciple of Christ today, what it means that we live in Christ and Christ lives in us. You are all cordially welcome to this book launch. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite the Reverend Dr. Ola Fixer-Tveit, General Secretary of World Council of Churches.
Thank you, Archbishop. Thank you to all of you for inviting the World Council of Churches to Finland, but also to share some of the fruits of the work we have done together. The conference in Arusha in Tanzania last year was one of the landmarks in the One Ecumenical Movement, as it helped us to see where have been going together in mission, but also where should we go from here. And the title gives us already a very strong direction. It is about discipleship. It's about following on, not come to this point and stop, but from here on onwards. Well, there have been many images in mission. Some of them are related to warfare. I think we have changed our images and back to the biblical image of discipleship, which is following, but not following anybody, but following Jesus Christ. That means following Him in His attitude, in His way of dealing with the others, in His way of sharing the love of God through His life, and eventually also His death and the resurrection. It is following the reality of life and the life in love for the world as God loves the world. The publications from this event are now ready for us to present, to be shared, to be read, to be distributed to the whole world. In the World Council of Churches we have many of these reports, and some of them also have many of them in their shelves. But I would say most of the reports are like good wine. They need some maturity, but they can also last very long and really give a lot more, not only by the first reading, but maybe by the second and third. I think this is a type of documentation that deserves not only to be in the shelves, but to really be on our tables, to be in our conversations, to be in our spirit. And I'm sure those who will read them, and also those who have been there, but not also those who have not been there, will find that this is a spirit of Arusha, but more than a spirit, it is a reflection about what is God's mission today. So let us receive the report with gratitude, both for the event, but also for the work to produce them, and let us share them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will look at the report soon, but before that, we will invite 5 voices from Arusha. The Arusha Conference took place in March 2018. 1 year later, what is the impressions from some of the church leaders? One of our journalists, freelance journalists, went to Arusha in the beginning of May. And now we are going to listen to 5 voices from Arusha.
Evangelism is really a total service for humanity, to spread good news of salvation. And what I mean here is to prepare the soul, the heart, to be friendly with God. And this issue of friendly with God starts with the person himself or herself and those who are around him or her. And then from there, there is the issue of education, secular education, there is the issue of health, there is the issue of economy, there is the issue of politics.
Faith has a very strong, it has a power in itself. When people believe, people can do a lot. Believe in Christ, believe in themselves, believe in what they can do, they get out of trouble. They don't need handouts, actually. They need education and knowledge to help them get transformed.
Evangelization without actions is nothing. We have to help those in need so that the work of Christ, the work of Jesus can be seen in the souls of those in need.
I think being good news can come in a variety of forms, and it's coming from that heart of seeing people through the eyes of Jesus and the compassion of God in terms of the situation that they are finding themselves in. And so, again, coming alongside and seeing what practical ways we can share God's love with them.
The church is actually a change agent, and we as the church
Say thank you very much to Bishop Solomon Jacob Masangwa, Bishop Stanley Hotai, Sharon Mixey from the Central Committee members from Mennonite Church, and to Matthäus Lukas Nosiki, pastor from the Greek Orthodox Evangelismos Church in Arusha, and Dr. Rugate Robin Mashana for their contribution. Let's give them an applaud. And all the material is also available online if you have a second look at the material. Now it's time to find out, is the report available? May I invite Reverend Dr. Risto Joko, Director for Mission and Evangelism, Kei Kyung-Yu, Conference Coordinator, and Santi Murphy, Communication Officer, to take their seat. And this is part of the editorial team. We are missing one person on stage, that's Dr. Reverend Joseph Q, the former director of Mission and Evangelism. He was invited, but he's traveling from Edinburgh to Seoul tonight. So we will include him in the conversation. But, Risto, could you tell us a little bit? Do we have a report available?
Indeed, yeah. And I think the big difference between wine, which is maturing when the time goes on, this Arusha report is a very good quality from the very beginning. We have a huge amount of work behind these 2 volumes of the Arusha report. It's divided into 2. The first one is moving in the spirit, meant particularly for mission people, missiologists, teachers of theology and so forth. And then we have another volume called Transforming Discipleship, which presents the Bible studies of the conference and has 12 devotions based on the Arusha Call. And because the Arusha Call is so central, as we heard, in both of these volumes, the Arusha Call and the Arusha Conference Report are reported and documented. So it's really easy to have access on them. And not only that, we have a third volume, invisible, but online, so you can easily go there, and that's the most complete volume of documentation from the Arusha conference. Some material which has not been included in these two volumes.
Thank you for that presentation, but Risto, you have read through all the documents many times. If the readers asking themselves where to start, what would you recommend?
One of the principles we wanted to do with these documents is to user-friendliness. That is, what is the thing that people would want to look for at the premier instance, and that is the outcome of the conference. So, if you open up the book, you will find out that right at the beginning, there's Arusha Call and the conference report, the most essential documents, and then you have a lot of more. Then also on the structural level, we wanted to make it user-friendly in the sense that it goes on chronologically. We start before Arusha Conference, reflections on the time and what was leading to Arusha Conference, then what happened in and during Arusha Conference, and beyond Arusha Conference. So this is something also which helps the reader to get into the spirituality and the great call, great document, what we call the Arusha Call to Transforming Discipleship.
Thanks. I would like to invite Kay. You have been producing another part of the document. Please tell us what it's all about.
One of the most challenging questions for my ordination paper preparation that I had to write was about 20 years ago. I was to write or describe the nature and the mission of the church and what are its primary concerns or tasks today. I believe I wrote a line along with something like this. It's all about making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. I believe that the writing part was somewhat easier than my actual interview, where I was asked to describe the same questions, but this time as I was to share with the young children at the church. So now it's my answer question to you. How would you, as a pastors, church leaders, or theologians, missiologists, Christians, answer to those questions to your children? The concept of transforming discipleship. Now I am a mother of an 8-year-old child. So I asked my son, who is 8 years old, the questions. What comes to your mind when you hear about the concept of transforming discipleship? And this is what he said. Surprisingly enough, he came with a quick answer. Oh, Mom, you mean just like my favorite toy, transformer toy, called Turning Backcard? I said, sure. Turning Backcard is a toy vehicle which hits just push you over to the cart and then immediately transforms into an action figure or action agent. I thought that it's all about moving in the spirit, called transforming discipleship. What's next after the World Mission Conference? How we implement the Arusha Call to Discipleship? We have asked, reflected, talked about it, and for the next steps or our next movement. devotional guide called Transforming Discipleship is a major work from the Bridge Working Group of the CWME for a further discussion, further suggestion for your continued reflections and prayer and action plan for the God's mission today.
Thank you, Kay. You've been working hard also with the content with the working group, but do you have a favorite page in the report?
All of them. Actually, I can't even show what it's like. I brought my son's toy here too. So, happen to be the color is red, like Holy Spirit. If you are attached into the Holy Spirit, you are to transform like this.
Thank you very much. Santi, we have also a digital version. Where to find it? Could anyone download it or tell us more?
This is the best proposal. Everything is online. You're able to visit the website of the World Council of Churches, and there you will be able to find the official report book from the conference in Arusha and the Call to Transforming Discipleship devotional guide with all the written materials and the audiovisual materials incorporated actually. That means that what happened in Arusha, in the conference, but in the city of Arusha as well, is actually available now for the rest of the world. Mission societies, member churches, students, academia, for the less privileged ones, also ecumenical partners and other interested parties. For us in the World Council of Churches, accessibility to knowledge, especially for the less privileged ones, accessibility to information, openness is a priority right now. Well-informed societies, well-educated people, the next generation, will have this power of transforming societies through knowledge, societies that would be more democratic actually, with access to information, respect for the freedom of religion, freedom of speech. And this is where we want to lead the next generation to places where truly mission and evangelism is needed. First of all, they need to bring meaning again, existential meaning, where faith and hope is absolutely lost, where despair is just actually there. And they also are able to visit the margins, from racism to the human rights and rights of the indigenous people, to human trafficking and modern slavery, hundreds of occasions. This is where we need to bring the good news. And this is what we're doing with the World Council of Churches in this commission.
Thank you very much. A last question to the three panelists. You have been working hard with the editorial material. What's coming next, Risto, as the new director?
There are many ways to apply this report. One of them is to translate it, or parts of it, together with the World Council of Churches in your own particular language. The other one is go beyond this spiritual guide, see what is applicable in your own context and apply it. As was already heard, the idea is to capture something, the essence of call to discipleship, what it means to be Jesus follower in today's context, and this of course can be a considerable tool and help for that.
Thank you. Kay, what's next for you with your material?
To distribute as much as you can and use it. This is a practical guide for you to take it with you and spread the good news to your neighbors and especially with your children to teach.
And if we have a local pastor listening to us now and he's not a mission expert, is it possible to use the material?
Absolutely, I believe so.
Thank you. Santi, we mentioned also in the beginning that more material is coming from Arusha.
This is true. We revisited Arusha 1 year after the conference. That means that you will be able to watch audiovisual material from the Maasai to the local congregations, and also the way their life was redefined through the impact that the conference created actually. And next steps in terms of communication, we will also start traveling the world with this material, universities, mission societies, youth, and the margins, of course, where we're mostly needed.
Thank you very much to the panel, and now I will say it's up to each of us to take up the document and try to transform the societies and try to make a difference. Now we are going to switch to the next panel. Iris.
Yes, so thank you very much. Give a huge applause for the work. You know how hard it is to make them. And now please the next speakers, so those please come up to reflect and give your own testimonies. We have a very special question here, that what does the Arusha Call mean to you personally and to the world? So please take seats so I introduce our panelists. You are very welcome. We have now from all over the world, so you see that this is the funny thing in World Council of Churches, that all of a sudden you have the world around you, and you just have to get to know a little bit what's going on in Finland and what's happening in India and what's going wherever you come from. So I'm happy to introduce. So first we have here the moderator of the World Council of Churches, Commissioner World Mission and Evangelism, Bishop, I heard you, I can say you George, Bishop George Korilos. That's easier. How do you say your first name? Gevorgis, yes. And I also remember that you have been in the Student Christian Movement of India, and then you have been in the working group of Global Christian Forum. Are there something else you would like to mention about your past? Where are you located at the moment? Where is your bishopdom, this Niranam diocese? Where does it locate in India?
I live in South India, in the state called Kerala.
Yes, yes. I think we know Kerala, yes. Now then our next guest speaker is and the member of the Commission on World Mission and Evangelism. You are the vice moderator there. And Reverend Dr. Janet Collett. And you come originally from an island, Isle of Man. And you have been in the state, in South America, Central America, and then in the UK. And then also I was that you have been working as a director for the South London Mission. Very interesting. Is there something missing that I'm missing from your curriculum? Very good. Then Bishop Peura, Simo Peura. So you are very welcome. We are old colleagues from the church press house at the time. And you have been serving for a long time now in Lapua Diocese. And then also here you are very much, because you are the permanent, permanent committee on consensus and collaboration. So you are there and you have been in the executive committee for a long time. What is this WCC Permanent Committee on Consensus and Collaboration doing?
Well, it tries to make the participation of the Orthodox churches so possible within the WCC. If there are any obstacles, we try to solve the problems. The Orthodox are minority among the Protestant churches. That has to be taken into account.
Thank you. That's very important. Then we have Father Richard Noyombi. And you come from Uganda, and you are father, and you also are a member of the Conference of World Mission and Evangelism Commission, and also a member of the Missionaries of Africa. Tell a bit about that, Missionaries of Africa.
Well, Missionaries of Africa, this is a missionary institute founded to evangelize Africa 150 years ago. So this year we are celebrating a jubilee of 150 years.
Congratulations. So you are covering all Africa. So
yes, most of the countries in Africa.
Yes, congratulations. And then we have Claudia Bandiksen, a Reformed pastor, and the former president of the Church of Aargau. And you come from Switzerland. And you are also a member of the WCC Commission on World Mission and Evangelism, and you work in Basel at the moment. Tell a bit about Switzerland at the moment. We followed your referendum there, this arms
Yes.
Yes.
So, of course, mission is being part of it. We are, since 200 years since our mission is alive and founded, we are really struggling and fighting for freeing people against slavery in any case. And it is for us so important to go against any violence we see. So until today, and it is sad to say so, we have so many situations of violence and we are so needed. Yes.
Thank you. And then we also have from the east, we have Hu Yingjing, is that right, my pronunciation? And you are Deputy Director of the Overseas Relations Department of China Christian Council. And you are serving the Chinese context of rapid growing church and with all the blessings and challenges that presents for ecumenical engagement and the search for the unity we have. And you are also a member of WCC Commission on World Mission and Evangelism. Is this the first time for you in Finland? Second time, very good. Yes, yes. And from what part of China where are you located?
I'm based in Shanghai.
You are based in Shanghai?
Yes.
Yes, in both?
No, I'm based in
Shanghai. Based in Shanghai, so yes, yes. Very good. All right, so now we go, thank you very much for coming, and now I think that we could start here from Bishop George. What does Arusha Call mean to you and to the world? Give very short testimonies and reflections so we get most out of it.
Thank you. On a personal note, as moderator of the CWME, I think it's a proud moment for me, particularly as moderator of the Commission, but for the entire Commission, I think this is a very, very proud moment. The fact that the Arusha book report has been launched now is a thing that we can be grateful to God for. At this time, I want to thank everyone who is here, especially the Commission, and everyone who is involved in producing this very important book. On behalf of the Commission, I want to thank all of them, particularly the person who is not here, that we should not forget is our former director, Dr. Joseph Kuhn, who could not be with us today because he is traveling from Scotland to his home country. He was the chief architect of the Arusha World Mission Conference. He had put his heart and soul into it. Therefore, let us also remember him with gratitude for all the work he has put in. As far as the Arusha Call to Discipleship is concerned, as I was sharing my experience in the press conference we had a few hours ago, it was a moment of a great pride for me. Because given the scenario within the World Council of Churches that it works with this consensus model, it is almost impossible to get consensus around a text or a statement within the World Council of Churches, even more so within CWME, with a kind of wide spectrum of theological perspectives, traditions that we represent within the family of CWME, Roman Catholics, Orthodox, Protestants, Pentecostals, Charismatics. So all of these traditions are represented within the family of CWME. Therefore, to arrive at consensus around a theological, missiological statement is almost impossible. And this was a concern for all of us at Arusha when we considered the Arusha Call to Discipleship. Of course, we had a drafting group that worked on it. And I can tell you, even on the penultimate day of the conference, there were sections within the text that the members of the drafting group could not agree on. So on that day, I almost thought it was not going to be possible to have a conference message or a statement in Arusha. But we did pray about it. I personally prayed a lot about it and left it to the Spirit. And on the final day, as we all saw and witnessed in Arusha, during the final session of the conference, after a healthy and long debate about all those issues that people thought were very important, we finally arrived at a consensus. At the last moment, it was a sea of orange cards, which meant overwhelming affirmation of Arusha Call to Discipleship. It would have been a terrible loss if we did not have the Arusha Call to Discipleship as an affirmed declaration or a statement from the Arusha Conference. Therefore, on a personal note, I want to thank God and all of us for working towards this very important document called the Arusha Call to Discipleship. Secondly,
summarize, please.
Sure. Yeah. Secondly, I think the biblical notion of discipleship was popularized by Dietrich Bonhoeffer through this revolutionary notion of costly discipleship. But after Bonhoeffer, probably it was Arusha which took a relook at the concept of discipleship, and through this notion of transforming discipleship, I think we can say that CWME and the World Mission Conference in Arusha gave a new life and new perspective. Whereas the General Secretary was telling us this morning, it has given rise to a new discourse on mission in terms of discipleship. I must say that this is perhaps the most comprehensive, holistic perspective one can think of on the notion of discipleship, because it takes care of the personal, social, economic, ecological, interfaith, gender-just, eschatological dimensions of discipleship. In that sense, it is a concept, it is a notion, it is a paradigm that will go a long way in influencing and shaping the future course of missiology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because I know it comes very much from your heart. Dr. Collett, what is your vision for the future, for yourself and the world about Arusha Call?
Just to be very brief, I'd like to say that the Arusha Call has challenged me and made me think very seriously about the way that those of us in the north and the global areas that are wealthy, we are like Pilate, washing our hands in the face of those who are suffering and crucified by the poverty and the inequalities and the climate change, to mention a few issues. The call ends in prayer, which for me is really important, because none of it we can do in our own strength, and we have to open ourselves to the power of the Spirit. We have to be people who allow ourselves to be moved by the love of Christ, to bring Christ, to bring change, to bring transformation in the world.
Thank you. Bishop Peura, what does it mean to you, this personally, this Arusha Call, and to the world?
I must say first that I was not able to participate in Arusha meeting, but I have read the Arusha Call carefully several times. And for me, it's first of all a call to repentance. A call to repentance. Why? I try to explain. The Arusha Call invites us and all the people in the world to join the ongoing movement of the Holy Spirit. Above all, He leads us to fellowship of the triune God. And as the fruit of that fellowship, we are then called to a balanced Christian life. The Arusha Call challenges us to have the gospel as our most precious treasure. It helps us as individuals and communities to a simple lifetime, to avoid wasting the resources of the nature, and to be more able to resist the greed and injustice. We are called to confess that only with the presence of Lord Jesus Christ we have hope. With Him we can share our well-being and receive those who are rejected, despised, or driven away from their homes and lands. With our Lord Jesus, we are called to create each other, in a friendly way and to have dialogue even with those who don't share our faith. In everything, we are called to maintain the way of humility, the way of the cross, not taking part in any means of forcing or violence. Therefore, it's a call to repentance.
Thank you. Very powerful messages that you deliver with us. Father Noyombi, so how do you see, as from your own background, so how do you see this Arusha Call? What does it mean to you and to the world?
Thank you very much. I would like to say 2 points about the Arusha Call and the conference in general. The first one, I would like to say a word about the context of Arusha. I think it is a historical place in the mission of bringing about peace, justice, and reconciliation in Africa. And then I will say a word about the call itself, one of the aspects which I feel I'm called to respond, challenged, but also as an individual, but also as a church. The first one is the context of Arusha. Arusha, I think, has a mission. It is in the plan of God to bring about peace, justice, and reconciliation in Africa. It is a place where enemies have come. They have sat around the round table, they have talked to each other, they have tried to seek for peace and reconciliation. Just to give you 3 examples. The first one is the Arusha Accords for Rwanda in 1993. Then there was Arusha Peace and Reconciliation Agreement for Burundi in 2000. Then there was Arusha Agreement for South Sudan, reuniting SPLM party in 2015. And then, of course, we know that Arusha hosted the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda between 1994 and 2015. So I think Arusha has a mission for peace and justice and reconciliation. And so having a World Mission Conference in this city, I think it was not just by chance. It was not by accident. I think it was providential. God wanted to remind us of the centrality of peace, justice, and reconciliation in our mission as churches, in our mission as followers of Christ, in our mission as disciples of Christ. And I think we are also reminded that, well, believers and politicians, we have to work together for peace, justice, and reconciliation. Now, coming to the Arusha Call itself, I was more attached by the last plenary and then the last act of the conference, embracing the cross. In this call, which had many aspects, as I say, I focus on that. And we are told in that call that we are called to follow the way of the cross, which challenges elitism, privilege, personal and structural power, with the quote Luke 9:23, where Jesus invites us to take our cross each one and follow him. And during the conference, we are given the possibility to reflect and meditate. There was a whole way of the cross, where people were going and meditating on it. And then, of course, the last one was the crosses which were given to us, invited to embrace the cross. Yes, the cross, which is foolishness for some, but power of God for us. So I have that cross at home. It is on my working desk. And every day I ask myself, what am I going to do with this in order to bring the message of Arusha to my brothers and sisters and also to the church. And I think once again, I feel every day invited by Christ to take my cross as an individual, as a member of my institute, also as a member of my church, to follow Christ in order to bring about peace, justice, and reconciliation. Thank
Thank you very much. And then we have, I get lost sometimes when you speak now, so you bring so many memories and thoughts to my mind. We have to continue discussing later. But Reverend Claudia Bandiksen, what is the Arusha Call? What does it mean to you and to the world?
When you have been there and you see all those pictures, you feel joyful. It was like this, Arusha, really celebrating community. And it was, for me, most impressive and a challenge. For in Europe, you know, we call Africa the lost continent without any future. And there we have experienced future, hope, and brightness. So I was so proud how those churches acted, and I have to thank those churches a lot for this. Now, Arusha is for me all about community. All about community means community in three ways I would like to call. When, for example, the woman from Congo told us in the plenary about the situation in her region, that children cannot go to school during years, and that she's afraid that her husband might not come home, for it's so dangerous for all of them. So you could not do another thing than to feel really her grief and to be solidary with her, and in respecting her situation and not saying your situation is nothing, it's a little bit of something, but really to take it serious, made for Arusha to a healing community. To take in serious what is happening to others makes healing. The second community manner was we have been a learning community. You don't know how many impressions you got from the wisdom from very young people too, and from all over the world and from so many cultures. And the third community type, which was impressing me, and I think we should go there really further, was the gap between very poor and very rich. The gap between countries where you can live peacefully and with no bigger problems, and those Christians which are persecuted and killed, like in northern Nigeria, and nobody is asking for their IDPs, worth nothing. So I felt this is a future we have to take and embrace. We have to go on as an advocating community, and our way should be developed through listening, not only healing, not only learning, but advocating one another.
Thank you very much. And then Deputy Director Zhu Jingjing, how do you feel? What is your Arusha Call, and what does it mean to you and to the world?
Well, the Arusha Conference was the first World Missionary Conference I've ever attended, and even till today, very powerful and colorful Africanized expressions of spirituality still is very enlightening to me on my work and my understanding of mission and discipleship. When I was asked to do this panel, I reread the Arusha Call and was thinking, what does it mean to me? So I feel like I entered into a journey of rediscovering the meaning and power of mission, evangelism, and discipleship. I think this call actually covered quite many aspects, say margins, environment, globalization, refugees, etc., etc. And one point which I am personally very passionate about is how God's transforming love is witnessed through the dialogues with people of other faiths, because I am from a context which is a huge country with a lot of different religions and people of no religious faiths, and also different cultures. And I think it's not only important to have dialogues with other people of other religious faiths, but also with people of no institutional religious faiths. because I do believe that they all are the images of God. And interactive encounters and dialogues with such communities would help Christians as minorities in Chinese society be better understood and accepted. It would also help us to increase mutual recognitions and appreciations amongst different communities. For me, the discipleship is a journey to be set off by putting aside differences and prejudices. And I believe the transformative power through dialogues would also enable me personally to strengthen the reaffirmation of my faith. And it may also help to make me an agent of changes and reconciliation in the pursuit of justice and peace together with other humans.
Thank you very much also your contribution, this dialogue question with other faiths, and very, very thorough. Now we have, time is flying, you know, so I just asked the panelists for one word. So what would the WCC or your own church do to contribute to follow up Arusha Call? Just, yeah.
The Methodist Church in Britain could actually give us space in conference to talk about it, and it has been ignored a little, I have to say.
Other suggestions? Yes.
Yes, by us, it has been so that the text has been translated into Finnish and discussed in several levels of the church by the mission organizations, the World Mission and so on. But I would like to have stories since Arusha, those stories which are encouraging and telling us what can happen in the life of the church is positive after Arusha. WCC could create the space for that.
Are there other suggestions? What would we do in churches?
We should invite people which was there, really, and to listen to them. Or I think you can understand papers best when you can talk to somebody and to feel what was it about and how can we go on together.
And one more, yes.
For me, it is renew or embrace the cross of Christ and then go where you went.
I think what we did with the TTL is the way forward. First thing is that make sure that the document is translated into various languages all over the world. As far as possible, prepare devotional and study guides, practical guides to the text. More importantly, I think we need to encourage our member churches and mission bodies to live out the spirit of Arusha, to live out the call of discipleship.
Is there still something that you like to add?
Next month, actually, we will launch the translation version of Together Towards Vision. And as a commissioner of this commission, I feel sorry that I have not done as much as my other colleagues done in China. So I do believe that after return, I should have this document and some other resources in this package to be translated into Chinese, so that many more missiologists and theologians in China could use them and share with more people.
Thank you, all you panelists, and I must say that I find and feel a lot of energy, a lot of engagement, a lot of good practical suggestions for the parishes to work with this Arusha Call. And also, like you all mentioned, that it's not only wisdom of books and stories, but it's very much the wisdom of heart. And I think we have a chance here now to have a conclusion which is quite a surprise and which will all bring us together to the spirit of Arusha. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for everyone participating in the panel discussion, and a big thank you to the Evangelical Church of Finland. They have produced the whole launch. Big thank you to the Archbishop and his team. This is part of the living fellowship that we contribute from Arusha to Helsinki, and Helsinki too. Wherever in the world, it's up to us to take the call with us. And the final part, I would like to invite the Reverend Dr. Christoph Anders to join me here. We have decided that we should remind ourselves about the Arusha Call and the Arusha theme song. And after that, everyone in the room are welcome to come and get their own copy of the report and bring back home.
So when the video starts, we will join singing when the refrain is brought up. So let's first listen and then start all together. And why don't we move a little bit?
Everyone is welcome to have their own copy in the hands from the editorial team. Please welcome. We say goodbye to our listeners from all over the world.
Ja.